Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel Science Pathashala. Dear aspirants, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. This video is made especially for you. Today we are going to learn one of the most fundamental and high scoring topics, SI units and base quantities for KAR-TET 2025 in science. ನೀವು ಯಾವ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀರೋ ಅದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ನಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. That's why in this video we will understand the SI units and base quantities clearly with simple figures and neat explanations that you will never forget. And finally I will show you KAR-TET previous year questions so you can see how easily these concepts appear in the real exam. So watch till the end friends, because this one video will make your SI units crystal clear forever. ಈ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಲಿಂಕನ್ನು ನಮ್ಮ ಟೆಲಿಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಚಾನಲಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀನಿ. ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಲಿಂಕಿಂದ ಟೆಲಿಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಚಾನಲನ್ನು ಜಾಯ್ನ್ ಆಗ್ರಿ ಹಾಗೂ KAR-TETಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಪಡೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್. The International System of Units SI, it is a standard method used all over the world to measure the physical quantities. Force, it is the push or pull acting on a body that changes or tends to change its motion. Force andre bala. The symbol for force it is capital F. The SI unit for force it is Newton. The unit symbol for force is Newton is equal to kilogram meter per second squared. The next is pressure. It is the force applied per unit area on a surface. ಅಂದರೆ ಒತ್ತಡ. The symbol for pressure it is capital P. The SI unit for pressure it is Pascal. The unit symbol for pressure it is Pascal is equal to Newton per meter squared. Work and energy. So work and energy is nothing but work is done when a force moves an object. Energy is the capacity to do work. ಅಂದರೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮತ್ತು ಶಕ್ತಿ. The symbol for work and energy is capital W and capital E. The SI unit for work and energy it is joule. The unit symbol it is joule is equal to Newton meter. The next is power. So power it is nothing but it is the rate at which work is done or energy is transferred. ಅಂದರೆ ಶಕ್ತಿಯ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ. The symbol for power it is capital P. So the SI unit for power it is watt. That is watt is equal to joule per second. So velocity is nothing but it is the rate of change of displacement of a body in a particular direction. ಅಂದರೆ ವೇಗ. So the symbol for velocity it is small v. The SI unit is meter per second. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪವರ್ಗೆ ಎರಡಕ್ಕೂ ಸಿಂಬಾಲು ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಪಿ ಇದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ದೇ ಟೋಟಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಐಡಿಯಾಸ್. ಇನ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ capital P is measured in pascals. That is 1 pascal is equal to 1 Newton per meter squared. But in power capital P is measured in watts. That is 1 watt is equal to 1 joule per second. Next, length. So length means how long an object is. ವಸ್ತುವಿನ ಉದ್ದ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. The symbol it is small l. The SI unit it is meter and the unit symbol it is small m. So mass ಅಂದ್ರೆ how much matter a body contains. ಅಂದರೆ ವಸ್ತುವಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ದ್ರವ್ಯವಿದೆ ಎಂದು ತೋರಿಸುತ್ತದೆ. So it is represented by the symbol small m. So the SI unit it is kilogram and the unit symbol it is kg. The next is time. So time means how long an event takes to happen. ಒಂದು ಘಟನೆ ನಡೆಯಲು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳುವ ಅವಧಿ. So it is represented by the symbol small t and the SI unit it is second and the unit symbol it is small s. So the next is area. Area means how much surface a shape or object covers. ವಸ್ತುವಿನ ಮೇಲ್ಮೈ ಎಷ್ಟು ವಿಸ್ತಾರವಾಗಿದೆ ಎಂದು ತೋರಿಸುತ್ತದೆ. So it is represented by the symbol capital A and it is having a SI unit of square meter. So the next is volume. So volume is nothing but how much space an object occupies. ಅಂದರೆ ವಸ್ತು ಎಷ್ಟು ಜಾಗವನ್ನು ಆವರಿಸಿದೆ ಎಂದು ತೋರಿಸುತ್ತದೆ. It is represented by the symbol capital V and the SI unit it is cubic meter. The next is acceleration. So acceleration is nothing but it is the rate of change of velocity of a body with respect to time. So acceleration andre twarane. So it is represented by the symbol small a. So idara SI unit ಏನಪ್ಪಾ andre meter per second squared. So the next is momentum. So momentum andre it is the product of mass and velocity of a moving body. So momentum andre ಗತಿಯ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ. ಇದನ್ನ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ p ಸಿಂಬಲ್ ಇಂದ ರಿಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇದರ SI ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಕಿಲೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಮೀಟರ್ ಪರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್. kilogram meter per second. The next is torque. So torque andre it is the turning effect of a force acting on a body about an axis. So idanna tau symbol inda represent ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So the SI unit for torque is Newton meter. So torque andre idu ತಿರುಗುವ ಬಲ. So next is moment of inertia. So it is the measure of a body's resistance to rotational motion about an axis. So it is represented by the symbol capital I. So the SI unit for moment of inertia it is kilogram meter squared. The next is electric charge. So electric charge it is the basic property of matter responsible for all electric forces and interactions. So it is represented by the symbol Q, small q. So the SI unit of the electric charge it is coulomb. So the unit symbol it is nothing but 1 coulomb equals 1 ampere second. That is electric charge is measured in coulombs. 1 coulomb means 1 ampere of current flowing for 1 second. The next is electric current. So electric current it is nothing but it is the rate of flow of electric charge through a conductor. The symbol here it is I, capital I. So the SI unit it is ampere. So the unit symbol it is capital A. So the next is potential difference. That is it is the work done in moving a unit positive charge from one point to another in an electric field. So that is represented by capital V. So the SI unit for potential difference it is volt. So the unit symbol for potential difference is 1 volt equals 1 joule per coulomb. That is potential difference is measured in volts. It means 1 joule of energy per coulomb of charge. The next is resistance. So resistance andre ಏನಪ್ಪಾ andre it is the opposition offered by a conductor to flow of electric current. So resistance has a symbol capital R and the SI unit for resistance it is ohm. So 1 ohm equals 1 volt per ampere. It is the unit symbol. That is resistance is measured in ohm and the symbol is the Greek letter omega. So the next is capacitance. So capacitance it is the ability of a capacitor to store electric charge per unit potential difference. So it is represented by the symbol capital C. So the SI unit for capacitance it is farad. That is the unit symbol is 1 farad equals 1 coulomb per volt. That is capacitance is measured in farad. 1 farad means 1 coulomb of charge per volt. The next is inductance. Inductance is nothing but it is the property of a coil that opposes any change in the current flowing through it. ಇದನ್ನ capital L symbol ಇಂದ represent ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. The SI unit of inductance it is Henry. So the unit symbol it is 1 Henry equals 1 Weber per ampere. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಡಕ್ಟನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಮೆಷರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೆಷರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಹೆನ್ರಿ. 1 Henry means 1 Weber of magnetic flux per ampere of current. The next is magnetic flux. So magnetic flux andre it is the total number of magnetic field lines passing normally through a given surface. It is represented by the symbol phi. The SI unit for magnetic flux it is Weber. So Weber andre Weber equals 1 volt second. Next, magnetic flux density or magnetic field. So this is nothing but it is the magnetic flux per unit area at a point in the magnetic field. So this is represented by the symbol capital B. So the SI unit it is Tesla. So the unit symbol for this it is Newton per ampere per meter. So the next is electric flux. So electric flux it is nothing but it is the total number of electric field lines passing normally through a given surface. So it is represented by the symbol phi E. So the SI unit for this it is volt meter. The next is electric field strength. Electric field strength it is nothing but it is the force experienced by a unit positive charge placed at a point in the field. So it is represented by the symbol capital E. The SI unit it is nothing but Newton per coulomb or volt per meter. The next is magnetic field intensity. So it is just represented by the symbol capital H. The measure of magnetizing force that produces a magnetic field in a material. So that is nothing but magnetic field intensity. So the SI unit of magnetic field intensity it is ampere per meter. Next, frequency it is represented by small v or small f, means the number of complete wave cycles produced per second, it is frequency. So the SI unit for frequency it is hertz. The next is wavelength. So it is just represented by the symbol lambda. The distance between two successive crests or throws of a wave that is nothing but it is just represented by wavelength. So it is represented by the SI unit meter. The unit symbol it is small m. The next is calorific value that is represented by the symbol capital C small v. Here the amount of heat energy produced by complete combustion of 1 kilogram or 1 mole of a substance it is nothing but it is calorific value. The SI unit of calorific value it is joule per kilogram. Joule per kilogram. The next is density. So density it is represented by the symbol rho. So here the mass of a substance per unit volume is nothing but it is density. So the SI unit of density it is kilogram per cubic meter. The next is temperature. So temperature it is nothing but it is the measure of the degree of hotness or coldness of a body. So either symbol capital T. SI unit of temperature it is Kelvin. Unit symbol of temperature it is capital K. The next is heat. So heat andre it is the form of energy that flows from a hotter body to a colder body due to the temperature difference. So idanna capital Q symbol in the represent ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So the SI unit of heat it is joule. The symbol used is capital J, that is the unit symbol. The next is specific heat capacity. So specific heat capacity andre it is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of a substance by 1 Kelvin. Andre the symbol for the specific heat capacity it is small c. So the SI unit of the specific heat capacity it is joule per kilogram per Kelvin. So the next is the latent heat. So latent heat it is nothing but it is the amount of heat required to change the state of a unit mass of a substance without any temperature change. So idanna capital L symbol ಇಂದ represent ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. The SI unit of latent heat it is joule per kilogram. The next is entropy. So entropy it is nothing but it is the measure of disorder or randomness of a system or the measure of energy not available to do work. So the symbol for entropy it is capital S. The SI unit for the entropy it is joule per Kelvin. The next is speed of light. So speed of light is nothing but the speed at which light travels in a vacuum, representing the ultimate speed limit in the universe. So it is represented by the symbol small c. So the SI unit of speed of light it is meter per second and the value it is 3 into 10 raised to 8. So the next is Planck's constant. So Planck's constant it is nothing but it relates the energy of a photon to its frequency, forming the basis of the quantum theory. So it is represented by the symbol small h. So the SI unit is joule second, value 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34. The next is Avogadro's number. So Avogadro's number andre it is the number of atoms or molecules in 1 mole of a substance. So idanna capital N small a symbol in the represent ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So the SI unit for Avogadro's number it is per mole. The value it is 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 per mole. So the next is gas constant. So gas constant andre it relates the energy scale to the temperature scale in the ideal gas law andre PV is equal to nRT. So either symbol capital R, SI unit joule per mole per Kelvin. So value of R it is 8.314 joule per mole per Kelvin. So Boltzmann constant. So Boltzmann constant andre it links the average kinetic energy of particles to the temperature of a gas. So it is represented by the symbol small k. So SI unit ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ joule per Kelvin. ಇದರ value 1.38 into 10 raised to minus 23. The next is Faraday's constant. So Faraday's constant andre it is the amount of electric charge per mole of electrons. ಇದನ್ನ capital F symbol ಇಂದ represent ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So the SI unit of Faraday's constant it is coulomb per mole. So the value of Faraday's constant it is 9.65 into 10 raised to 4, that is 96,500. So the next is electric charge. So electric charge andre it is the magnitude of electric charge carried by a single electron. ಇದನ್ನ small ಇಂದ represent ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So SI unit coulomb, value 1.602 into 10 raised to minus 19. The next is gravitational constant. So gravitational constant andre it determines the strength of gravitational attraction between the two masses. So ಇದನ್ನ capital G symbol ಇಂದ represent ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So here the SI unit for this is ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ Newton meter squared per kilogram squared. So ಇದರ value 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11. So the next is Stephen Boltzmann constant. So Stephen Boltzmann constant it is nothing but it relates the total energy radiated per unit area of a black body to the fourth power of its temperature. So ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು sigma symbol ಇಂದ represent ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. So the SI unit is here watt per meter squared per Kelvin to the power 4. So the value is nothing but it is 5.67 into 10 raised to minus 8. So the next is Rydberg constant. So Rydberg constant andre it is used to calculate the wavelengths of a spectral lines of hydrogen and other 1 electron atoms. So it is represented by the symbol RH. So the SI unit it is per meter. The value it is 1.097 into 10 raised to 7 per meter. So dear friends, we have already discussed and understood the SI units and base quantities in detail. ಈಗ ನಾವು previous year question papers ನ ನೋಡೋಣ. How they have asked the questions based on the SI units. ಇದರಿಂದ ನಿಮಗೆ idea ಬರುತ್ತೆ how the questions are framed and what type of concepts they expect in examinations. So let's move on to the previous year question papers now. So the first question is the SI unit of electric flux is options ಈ ರೀತಿ ಇದೆ. So voltmeter, volt per meter, per volt meter, per volt per meter. So ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ, so in the previous slide the correct answer it is voltmeter. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸರಿಯಾದ ಉತ್ತರ voltmeter. Option 1 is the correct answer. Unit of electric charge options ಈ ರೀತಿ ಇದೆ. ಆಂಪಿಯರ್, ವೋಲ್ಟ್, ಕೂಲಂಬ್, ಓಮ್. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಮೊದಲೇ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಸರಿಯಾದ ಉತ್ತರ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಲಂಬ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ 3 is the correct answer. SI unit of electric current. So try to find the answer. ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ. ಸೊ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸು ಇಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆಂಪಿಯರ್, ವೋಲ್ಟ್, ಓಮ್, ಓಮ್ ಮೀಟರ್. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸರಿಯಾದ ಉತ್ತರ ಆಂಪಿಯರ್, that is option 1. The SI unit of density is. So check the options. Try to find the correct answer. The correct answer it is kilogram per cubic meter. That is option 1. So next question, the value of Planck's constant is. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 4 ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So carefully ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸು. ಆಪ್ಷನ್ 1, ಆಪ್ಷನ್ 2, ಆಪ್ಷನ್ 3, ಆಪ್ಷನ್ 4. So here as we have discussed in the earlier slides, the correct answer it is 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 joule second is the correct answer. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ 3 ಸರಿಯಾದ ಉತ್ತರ. So the next question is, among the following identify SI unit of frequency and wavelength respectively. Options ಈ ರೀತಿ ಇದೆ. ಮೀಟರ್, ಹರ್ಟ್ಸ್, ಹರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಮೀಟರ್, ಡೆಸಿಬಲ್, ಕ್ಯಾಂಡೆಲಾ, ಕ್ಯಾಂಡೆಲಾ ಡೆಸಿಬಲ್. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಸಿಬಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕ್ಯಾಂಡೆಲಾ ಅಂದರೆ, ಡೆಸಿಬಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಮೆಜರ್ ದಿ ಲೌಡ್ನೆಸ್, ಕ್ಯಾಂಡೆಲಾ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಮೆಜರ್ ದಿ ಲುಮಿನಸ್ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ. ಅಂದರೆ ಈ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ತಪ್ಪಾಯಿತು, ಈ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ತಪ್ಪಾಯಿತು. ಸೊ ನಮಗೆ ಫ್ರೀಕ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೆಜರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಹರ್ಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಆಮೇಲೆ ವೇವ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೆಜರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೀಟರ್. So the SI unit of frequency it is hertz and the SI unit of wavelength it is meter. So the correct option it is 2. SI unit of calorific value options ಈ ರೀತಿ ಇದೆ. So joule, next is Newton, the third is kilojoule per kilogram, the fourth is K. So that is Kelvin. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸರಿಯಾದ ಉತ್ತರ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, so as we have discussed earlier, kilojoule per kilogram it is the correct answer. That is option 3 is the correct answer. So the next question, the SI unit of magnetic field is. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ನಾವು ತಿಳಿದಿರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಇದರ ಸರಿಯಾದ ಉತ್ತರ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ 2, that is Newton per ampere per meter. It is the correct answer. So friends, we have now completed SI units and base quantities, the building blocks of physics and chemistry. I hope ನಿಮಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತದೆ. Remember, knowledge without understanding fades away, but when you truly learn it, ಅದು forever ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಇರುತ್ತದೆ. Practice these concepts daily, solve KAR-TET previous year question papers, and trust me, once you understand, you will never forget. If this video helped you, please like, share and subscribe to Science Pathashala, your companion for smart, simple and successful learning. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ನನ್ನ ಮುಂದಿನ ವಿಡಿಯೋಗೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. Until then, keep learning, keep smiling ಮತ್ತು crack your KAR-TET 2025 with confidence. Thank you for watching.